Rendered near.
Glory is gone! The betrayer is upon us! She must be...
This thing's got a
Like this shit right now!
You're looking pretty skinny.
Why are you still alive? There's been some ghastly mistake. We must speak on the latest revelation before you compound it by killing me. You're obviously unaware that you've been officially marked for death. Otherwise, you'd have killed yourself and saved us all the trouble. Glad we were able to clarify all of that. Well?
I'm thinking I'd normally just kill this idiot where he stands, but I must know what in the architect's name he's going on about. Ziegler, what's got into your brain pan? You used to be a dedicated member of the Dawn. How could you think there was a legitimate kill order on me?
You were revealed as a betrayer through the sanctified channel. How can you disobey a revelation from on high, when you yourself exhorted us constantly to never do such?
You make a compelling point. But then again, so does my knife. Let me introduce you to it. Why the fuck not? You're such the jester, Commander. You actually had me going there for a minute. Now, where were we? Oh, that's right. It's time to stick Ziegler here like a cysty pig on a spit.
Trouble ahead.
Commander, don't make me avenge you.
Ram's still recharging.
Like Sting. Alive.
Medkit coming your way.
I enjoy killing Ziggler. Celebrations will have to wait until
Until all of his traitorous cell have been dealt with. Durable, patch yourself up!
Not a good look, Commander.
Practicing some.
enjoyed killing Ziggler.
Celebrations will have to wait until all of his traitorous cells have been dealt with.
Blood angry. Mess with me.
Better sleep with both eyes open.
Gateway to transcendence. My highest
As much as I enjoy. I enjoyed killing Ziegler. Celebrations will have to wait until all of his traitorous cell have been dealt with. Not a good look, Commander!
Practicing some battle.
Not looking
A might marginal, Commander. Medical pack out. Brass raring to go. Back in business.
I'm alive. Who needs to die?
Not even fit for the risk.
Follow the risk. Second time. Swine.
I can't believe what Hierarch Ziegler was saying. How could there be an official kill order out on me? The poor fools probably thought they were just fulfilling their duty. If only it were that simple. It should be impossible for someone to infiltrate our communication systems, especially when it comes to a high-level communique. Unless they somehow have our codes. This could only mean that one of our members has been compromised. Damn straight they should have. I have no idea. If I go anywhere near one of our encampments, I'll be forced to kill members who believe they're following orders. Of course, any member of the Dawn who turns on me without thinking is asking for death, but this could still make solving this even more difficult. Don't worry. I'll stay on as part of your crew until I get this all figured. It's given me an impressive amount of opportunities for killing, and all the killing helps me think.
ya.
The gunfire has ceased. Is there any way Ames and Marchand could have... I'm sorry, LaRue. They died in the service of the Protectorate. Stop. Breathe. Then we shall press on. You surprise me. We cannot complete this mission and yet live. And should we live to see it through, your wife shall meet her end. Yet, your resolve remains unshaken. Any less would disgrace the Sovereign. Disgrace us all.
Looks like we have a few hungry friends joining us. Keep your finger on the trigger. That wasn't so bad. Nothing is ever simple. Frankly, pissed off. Restriction filled. shaft faster than this. That's it. I'm walking. As soon as I put these boys down. Medkit coming your way. Anything else the universe wants to throw at us while we're here?
This is one. I have suffered grievous wounds. At least one of my lungs meets the open air. LaRue fell swiftly. Screamed for me to help, but if I had remained to aid her, the mission would be at its end. The mission which is now doomed regardless. I arrived here to find the controls non-functional. Since my weapon delivers magnetically contained electric charges, I inserted it into a conduit hoping it would spring to life, but the Fairfield power controls have deteriorated. I wish I could admit relief that in my heart of hearts I wished my love to live, despite her traitorism. My darling, I am sorry. But were you here, I would use the last of my strength to slay you. Our feelings are not even a candle to the incandescent love of the Sovereign. Our blood, my blood, for the Protectorate. Signing off.
Why choose just any choice when you can choose Auntie's choice? Remember, Auntie knows.
Sometimes I get the feeling we're not welcome here. Like the Protectorate folks resent us liberating.
Lots of rumors flying around about what brought that.
What is it? Loose your words. I'm listening. Competence recognizes competence. Good work. Well, if it isn't the busiest mercenary this side of Tau Ceti. Protectorate's been awful quiet since you did your rooting about. Happy to trade words with you. Loose your words. I'm listening.
Trying real hard not to be insubordinate-like, Commander. But this Azza, she ain't right in the head. We got enough to worry about as it is, and adding this much chaos to our little crew can't end well. You sure we ought to be helping her? There's a difference between daydreaming about smacking sense into someone and actually endeavoring to disembowel them. I'll try to keep an open mind, Commander. But if she comes at me with a knife, I ain't gonna be the one left bleeding. Anyway, appreciate you hearing me out. I feel sick that Victor chose to end his life the way he did. And he was prepared to do it from the start. Law. DeVries doesn't deserve that kind of loyalty from anyone. Fine by me. Sure. Got someone in mind? Not only is he a couple smokes short of a pack, he's also insufferable. I try, Commander, but boy, he makes it difficult. Who knows? Could be that he could change for the better if he breaks free of that protectorate nonsense he's intoxicated with. But I won't hold my breath. Oh, I got a lot of choice words that would have even Val covering her audio receptors, so I'll spare you most of them. I just hope we don't regret letting Azza on board. She ain't right in the head. She's damn near bloodthirsty. I'll keep my distance when I can, but I promise you, if I perceive even a hint of threat from her, I will deal with it.
I must admit to being highly vexed by this kill order situation. Of course not. What a ridiculous question. You think that I'm like you, but I'm no longer bound by social restraints or pedestrian things like regret. So were I even to imply I felt remorse, that I wish I'd perhaps approached this with a more logical bent and not slaughtered these loyal Dawn members, it would mean nothing.
Such as?
The rifts are a device of the Architect to hasten humankind's perfection. They reduce whatever comes into contact with them to mathematically perfect information. We are nothing but that information, but we cannot see that because we exist in a chaotic and disordered reality. The universe is decaying, and our efforts to manage it are futile. The rifts are a perfectly ordered phase of existence. No chaos, no striving, no suffering. Peace and unity with the Architect themselves. Yes! Oh, isn't it truly glorious?
Nothing of much worth to tell there.
I'd rather hear your story.
Just because I don't need a convenient excuse to kill anyone I want like you seem to? Cultural norms are for the repressed and unenlightened.
Joining the Glorious Dawn freed me of such nonsense. They gave me a completely new life, wiped away all traces of fear and repression, and replaced them with unbridled freedom. My world used to be devoid of color. Everything was gray. Now everything is vibrant, like the arterial spray of a freshly opened vein.
And I'm still not interested in discussing it.
Victor wasn't exactly the partner in crime I envisioned DeVries to have. I don't envy anyone in the Order's janitorial sciences. They're gonna have a hell of a time scraping him off the walls, and the floors, and the ceiling. You ever wonder what might have happened if DeVries had let us in on her initial plan? Surely we wouldn't have been taken in by her rhetoric like Victor. Right? No, yeah, of course. Stupid question. It's just, I look at someone like Victor and see the trap I might have fallen into. True, but DeVries is still DeVries. She's good at deconstructing folks, uncovering their points of failure. She'd have known I had my heart set on being a hero. After Triangulum, all I wanted was to do for other colonies what Augustine had done for mine. Still do, if I'm honest. I will say, it's a lot easier to do just that nowadays, with you around. that is. Thanks for letting me wax for a bit. We can get back to what we were doing now. Unless there was something else you needed. Always up for a little back fence talk, though I'm guessing you don't mean Val. Well, he hasn't brought the hammer down upon us yet, so I suppose that's something. I still wouldn't play the odds on him choosing us over the Protectorate if it came right down to it, but I'd be happy to be proven wrong there. I think she'd have a hell of a time passing the Directorate psychological screening. Don't much care for all her talk about disembowelment neither. Truth be told, I don't know her all that well. Reckon she's unmoored and grabbing for anything that feels like purpose. Same as the rest of us. At least that's what I would say if I was feeling charitable. Most days, I send her out the airlock if it came to a vote. Sure thing. I trust you've got particular...
Inez's grafts are unthinkable. Simply to get ahead, Auntie's Choice expected her to permanently manifest a Raptidon limb? A Crabble Claw? Sovereign's mercy. It appears she lives a life of constant self-maintenance, lest her grafts break down. Not to mention the discomfiture and pain of bearing a foreign edition. Not that it bothers me. She is an enemy of the Protectorate, after all. We would never afflict one of our own with such a fate. Certainly, I consider myself an open tome. Who amongst our motley assortment would you care to discuss? I have absolutely no inkling whatsoever why you would choose to bring a deranged cultist aboard. Aza's kind plagued Arcadia even before the invasion. To be forced to call her colleague is almost more than I can bear. I can only hope she does not see it fit to pilot our ship into a rift to sate her own macabre ambitions. I find Agent Ibarra most curious. His system of values differs from my own, but not so much as I would expect. I look forward to understanding him better. He faces an interesting dilemma as an isolated member of the Earth Directorate. As do you, of course. I hope you both remain steadfast to your values. She is an enemy combatant, and were I not in your command, I would be honor-bound to bring her low. Yet, she is also oddly intriguing. She does not possess the scavenger's appetite of her colleagues. Perhaps if I came to know her better, I might, find techniques to use against her fellows. She is most certainly a typical Auntie's Choice minion, unfortunately. Though overlooking it is immensely difficult, I shall do so to maintain positive relations with yourself. Verily, idle gossip hardly suits an arbiter anyhow. Quite well. I am able to uphold justice wherever it may flag. Bolstered, of course, by your steady support. Was there more in this vein you wish to discuss? She taught me all that I know. Her teaching style was stern, but enlightening. If ever I erred, she would teach me to avoid making such a mistake in the future. Though she did not raise me from infancy, I was brought into her tutelage quite early. I spent a great deal of my life looking up to her. Her death weighs leaden on my shoulders. We must find her killer and bring them to justice, lest justice in Arcadia truly fall to ruin. That tremendous statue is of Matriarch Alexandra Varric, founder of the Protectorate. I'm shocked the traitors haven't defaced it.
All charged up.
Your word. I despise asking for aid, and yet I must. I shall. Impossible in my perfect condition.
Help?
Another refugee? All right, step forward. Just a moment. Allowing anyone into Matriarch's Mercy unprocessed will upset the precarious ratio of refugees to aid. We should have an opportunity for placement in approximately 7.85 days, presuming no unforeseen alterations. Ah, I seem to recollect one matching your description set for arrival. Pardon my slowing your ingress. It has been rather hectic of late. Welcome to Matriarch's Mercy. Rule number 1, no crowding. Rule number 2, avoid the exclusion zone. Our seer has predicted non-specific imminent danger. I thought the name was self-explanatory. Our seer predicted that a corner of the encampment is in terrible danger. Danger from what? Or when? Unclear. Stay away from it, and, in all probability, you won't have to find out. Can't say I didn't warn you. You need anything, talk to Seer Wiley. He's in the lift building, straight through the settlement.
I remember this place before the war. Functioning tramiculars. Peaceful silence of the canyons.
I can't recall the last time this region was silent.
I swear, it's nigh on impossible to find decent animal remains in these parts.
If we factor for random elements offsetting certain key variables, algorithmic dissonance, don't even like the sound of it. How could something be incalculable? Why, the very idea is preposterous. And then we solve for the... apologies. Just catching up on a research assignment between queries. Yes? Did you need something? Oh, doesn't everyone have that memorized? It's 1.7724535. Ah, I see you were making a jest and/or attempt at conversation. Anything else? Typically, no. And it has been somewhat challenging focusing my concentration. The abbot felt a scientician operating in a conspicuous spot in the thoroughfare might be useful. An illustrative way for our guests to see how we operate. To show how the Crabble patties are made, as it were. That is, if the meat preparation involved a 90-step rate formula and a conflux of polynomial equations. I am also on hand to answer queries by providing data supporting our actions. Though perhaps due to my central location, 89.74% of the time, I am simply asked for directions. Given our present circumstances, most of my data revolves around existential threats vis-à-vis the displaced. According to data, life inside shows a notable uptick in key relevant quality of life factors: longevity, access to medicine, potable water. Life outside sees increased risk of starvation, inclement weather, and hostile xenofauna. Yes, indeed. Numbers are really against you out there. We have diverted internal resources to better meet demand in key areas. And I'm pleased to say that's led to a statistically significant 2.7% increase in refugee satisfaction. But if my data remains unconvincing, I suggest you inquire with Provisioner Plotnik inside the lift building. Simply tell her Archivist Widmark approves brief use of her time. Then back to it I shall get.
My soup is nutritionally calculated to...
You there! Cease rifling in your colleagues' pockets or else! And you! No jostling! Oh, forget it.
Commander, you got a minute to talk? I got some thoughts on this situation with the refugees. The number of folks seeking refuge from the war is, well, it's beyond what I expected. And beyond what the Order is capable of handling, seems like. Antes may not be faring much better here, but we could at least find enough work for these folk to buy some food. It's a tough situation, that's all I'm saying. But if the Order can't even manage tens of folk at their doorstep, they ain't gonna manage much better should they win the war. But nothing's ever really free, is it? I went through this myself when Auntie's Choice took over Tau Ceti. It took time to secure the merger, but once they did, we folk got the help we needed real quick. And all they wanted in return was the signing of an employment contract. Now, I ain't seeing any contracts in Matriarch's Mercy. So what is the Order actually gaining by doing this? In all my years, I ain't encountered many folk who would extend a hand and expect nothing in return. I mean, I'd not have asked for your help with my graft if I didn't have something to offer in exchange. Well, maybe I misjudged the Earth Directorate after all. Anyhow, if the Order is in fact helping these folk with no hidden aims, then, well, I'll be the first to admit that there might just be merit in what they're selling. Appreciate you hearing me out.
Blast! I was halfway through my backwards recitation of each Protectorate law. Good that repetition strengthens the mind. Speak freely.
Ruth Bassar is the first among equals of the Laureate Council. She will raise humanity to perfection. Apologies, outsider. As a vicar, I am usually tasked with guiding non-order lay people, such as yourself. Lately, the abbot has tasked me with the education of the refugees in our care. You are, of course, free to stay to be enlightened by my lecture, but I don't need an abacus to predict your path lies elsewhere. Well, if it's in the displaced's best interests, I imagine I can find a moment. Yes, I reckon I do have my ear to the grimy dirt floor of Matriarch's Mercy. I hear what common lay people are saying, and the wide array of bodily noises they make. Suppose I, more than any other member of the Order here, connect with non-scienticians. I've begun daily lectures, including practical advice on efficiently planning their days. I frequently launch into extended orations on everyone's favorite topic, math, and meticulously expatiate on our sex origins in the most rigorously pedantic detail. Oh, dear, I got ahead of myself, didn't I? That's an occupational hazard around here. As I'm sure you've read in recent dissertations doing the rounds, education has proven to have a 13.7% increase in overall quality of life. I am single-handedly making a difference here, with constructive pointers on efficient scheduling, lessons on order history, plus some mathematics for a little added razzle-dazzle. Perhaps some other time we can debate the theoretical complexities involved. But I fear I must get back to my duties. These laypersons won't enlighten themselves. Welcome. Have you come to ask? Do you believe maybe I shall return?
Refugees, looks like. And after that strike, there'll only be more at the camp.
Paradigm is a self-centered derivative.
Where do we go now? Another refugee camp? Another colony?
I predict with an 8.2.
We're not going anywhere.
That our situation.
Not on the basis of some half-baked prediction. Except for the fact that you ain't yelling and trying to eat me. I'd have pegged you as some sort of prosperous scrapper by the rough look you got about you. You do got a certain feral look in your eye, though. Okay. I give up. Tell me. May Huffstutler, formerly Auntie's Choice, Department of Invasive Marketing. Now, the voice of the displaced. That's what those in the Order call me, leastways. An unofficial sobriquet, likely meant as a petulant slight. On account I object. Louder. More often than the rest. Those of us ended up here have very little except needs. I turn those into demands for reasons of clarity and import. Though, admittedly, it's a difficult way to make friends. The Order's not exactly fond of me. Rabble-rousing doesn't align with their vision of a perfect universe. Happy as I am to make your acquaintance, I'm busy staking our claim over the exclusion zone, so if you'll excuse me. The exclusion zone. The Order has decided to keep us out thanks to some nebulous prediction of disaster. Screw their predictions. We have people, displaced by war and disaster, in sore need of space. There's plenty of room to house them. This camp keeps us safe from the war, and now the Order wants to keep us safe from the camp? Where are we supposed to go? I honestly don't give the slightest whit about the Order's idea of math or whatever calculation tells them that a catastrophe may or may not occur. I couldn't get anywhere with Administrant Agarwal, but you, maybe you'll have better luck. Thanks, stranger. Maybe fate's on our side for a change. You can find Agarwal in the lift building, probably formulating another equation to get on my nerves.
I've got your numeral. Keep moving. What happened to this place?
Look on the bright side. I predict that.
What is it? I have 15 seconds of allotted time for non-specific discourse, so choose your words with expediency. Oh, don't tell me. You're here on behalf of the voice of the displaced, aren't you? Oh, May, is it? You're on a first-name basis already? This is about the exclusion zone, correct? Fair enough. The exclusion zone is a mere corner of Matriarch's mercy, and rightfully off limits. You see, the Seer predicted that a calamity would befall the exclusion zone, warning that the barrier must not be crossed. But the ever-disruptive voice of the displaced is dead set on occupying the exclusion zone anyway, laughing in the face of certain peril. Tell me, which of us has the title of administrant before their name? The responsibility is mine, as are the consequences. The Seer has augured death for anyone who enters the exclusion zone. Yes, you heard me right. Death. Furthermore, and I quote, an outside mediator, having earned the confidence of both sides, has a high likelihood of clearing up an ongoing dispute. And now the voice has involved you. How auspicious. Perhaps you are the outside mediator who was foretold. I believe only in the cold, inconvenient mathematics of the cosmos. This will work. It must work. The first step is to familiarize yourself with every angle of the dispute. Talk to the people of Matriarch's mercy. The displaced want the exclusion zone. We want it kept off limits. We can't both be right. With your seasoned perspective, perhaps the voice of the displaced will learn to listen. Any questions before you get started? I can tell you she's a rabble-rouser of the highest order. Still, she cleaves to her principles. That's something. You can find her outside, among her people, stubbornly defying an order barricade. But you already knew that. Novice Seer Vicarage should have ample time to illuminate you on the Order's forecast modeling methods. He's just down the room from here. According to predictions, yes. Or at least, my interpretation of them. I am reasonably certain. More than usual, in fact. Many people around camp support or object to our methods. Speak to them, form your own opinion, and when you are ready, you will decide the fate of the exclusion zone.
1,068.5 pardons, but my attention is presently 99.81% occupied, coordinating provisions and supplies for the displaced. Well, if the archivist said so, I suppose I can factor out a moment. As the assigned provisioner, I am responsible for coordinating the requisition and distribution of comestibles, medicinals, and miscellaneous vital supplies. The overwhelming majority of my time is dedicated to this, leaving only moments to see to the Order's needs in the settlement. But it is an effort I undertake with great relish. You may not have noticed, but the refugees do not want for food or medicine. With the great disruption that has occurred to their lives, one can hardly blame them. That they are fed and remain healthy is sufficient for me. The Order of the Ascendant is dedicated to the ascension of humanity. Our ultimate goal may not be reached in our lifetime. If I can help others in need today, I shall do so to the utmost extent of my abilities and resources. Appreciate you respecting my time. Yes. You may peruse to your heart's content, but do so speedily, for my sake.
By the law. It's you. Oh, thank the architect you're finally here. I've scarcely breathed while hoping you'd come. I am in desperate need of your help. As a doctor, I'm appalled. We don't have enough beds or private quarters to separate people, so sickness is blazing an unhappy trail through the refugees. Of course, the Order keeps us well supplied with meds, but things will get worse as long as we're overcrowded. Yes, I can treat sickness as it arises. It would be leagues better to prevent it entirely. That means space to spread out. Since you asked, you can run this medicine to Horst Lambing. Just don't shake the man's hand. He has a habit of coughing into his palm when he covers it at all. You see, the Seers are members of the Order who labor over the universal equation. Even in its unfinished state, the equation gives them the means to predict the future. Recently, I had a rare opportunity to ask the Seer for guidance. He told me that a dashing outsider would answer my prayers. I feared the prediction was a fluke, but here you are, a dashing outsider standing before me. Strictly speaking, it isn't. Not yet. But the math is very, very, very good at predicting what is probably most likely extremely possible. In theory. Within a margin of error. Anyway, that is the Seer's business. My business is the health and welfare of this camp. Where to begin? There are so many sick and wounded in Matriarch's Mercy, and I have but 2 imperfect hands. I am but a humble general practitioner. What I really need are specialists, and the Seer predicted an outsider would find them.
Might have time to patch up 1 or 2 patients before we head out. I used to be a combat medic. A good one, too.
You also strike me as someone on the go. I need committed medical employees, not a freelancer. The Seer gave me a datapad with explicit instructions that I not read it, for my intervention could only throw probability into disarray. Now, take the datapad, with my thanks. Thanks to you, our automechanical doctor has been dispensing medication and setting broken limbs with tireless efficiency. Take this. On behalf of the Order and the displaced, I thank you. Now, will there be anything else? How can I be of service? Since you aren't a refugee, I hope you understand that I cannot offer my goods free of charge, but my prices are fair.
You're right. The universe does not orient itself toward fairness. But it's my firm belief humanity can do better.
All evidence to the contrary.
What happened to this place? Law. Matriarch's Mercy is no safer than the trenches.
Look on the bright side. I predict that the worst is behind us.
Broke my nose last scrap. Or, I guess Raleigh Dortmunder did, huh? I still don't get any of this. I banged him up real good for you, didn't I? I won you one, right? Matters settled. The void you did. Barely connected. You're thinking of 2-3 scraps ago. You've been mostly unconscious a while now. You used at least 2 words I ain't sure I know. And I already forgot the question. No? I think. You ought to talk to Boss Tilda. She's the brains in this... What does she call it? Oh, yeah. Quasi-illicit shenanigan. Doesn't like to look at us when we're all banged up. Said my face turned her off Borsloaf. Anyhow, head down the hill along the fence. Tell her Mapother and Mudge sent you.
I haven't had grief.
This is truly a misbegotten settlement if criminals are allowed to operate openly within it. Architect's Mercy.
You got business? No? Move on. You the fixer lent your aid to Agent Galloway?
Don't suppose you got that crawling hibiscus she promised to sneak me, huh? Forget it. You can come in. Hello, hello. You're the one that aided us in availing Sub Rosa of a rather large shipment of Spectrum vodka, yes? Agent Galloway is slightly less trustful than most feral canids, so winning her over speaks volumes of your character. Consequently, I'm pleased to present you purchase access to my fine wares. It's fortunate you're no stranger to contraband. Savvier than you look. Might be that I've got an agent over by the Guardian Estates that I haven't heard from in a spell. If you perhaps find yourself over that way, and perhaps make sure that the aforementioned agent hasn't been torn limb from limb, Sub Rosa would be most grateful. Feast thine eyes on the merchandise!
Greetings. What can I help you with? Let me guess. One of your co-occupants is always hanging up his or her britches in your corner of the yurt. Am I right? Or you're dealing with more of a stay off my palate or that's my air you're breathing sort of thing. Pray elucidate the exact nature of your tiff of contention. Oh, really? Like they strung a few words together in a row and it all made sense? That's a marked improvement on earlier. Guessing they left out a bunch, though. Here in Matriarch's Mercy, if you're not a member of the Order, you're probably living close to somebody else. In some cases, sleeping on top of them. Sort of thing tends to cause friction between neighbors. Would lead to fights, but nobody here wants trouble with the Order. So they hire our hooligans to battle by proxy. Half the time, people shy away at the first sight of blood. The other, that's what they're there for. We say whoever wins the fight wins the argument. But frankly, it's never anything of consequence, like, okay, hurrah! This guy gets back his mangy button. Now, how can I help you exactly? Ugh, a tourist. Well, clear out then, huh? Can't have you scaring off real customers. I got a bunch of yeggs, 2 pugilized pugilists, and a cicanid to feed.
Look, your nose was just a stand-in for Duarte's nose.
How long are we meant to stay here?
That's the order. I'm not in the prediction business.
Oh, try not to get too close. My sinuses are stuffed up, my ears are backed up, and my guts are gurgling. I could burst at any moment. Every fluid from every orifice. So keep law, finally. Real relief for my fake symptoms. Let's see it then. If it's all the same, I'll give it to someone in real need. I've got more practice ahead of me. Wouldn't want to spoil it by seeking treatment. You have my gratitude, stranger. I think it's downright awful what's happened to these fine folks. But me especially. Sickness, malnutrition, spontaneous genetic disorders, it never ends. You too. Trust me, you don't want to catch this. Neither do I, for that matter.
How do you do, stranger? Always nice to see a friendly face around Matriarch's Mercy. Though it's a pity I can't lend more aid to our downtrodden collective. I'm just a humble taxidermist. What? And you think that's me? Listen, friend, a little skill with needle and thread does not make me a qualified medical professional.
Look, this place ain't exactly crawling with experts, and Doc needs all the help he can get. Even if all you do is suture wounds, Your services will be invaluable.
Have it your way, then. I know when I'm being voluntold. But you better make it worth my while. Before I agree to anything, I need sprat corpses. Several. And no victims of violence, please. My art depends on the quality of the sleeve. The term is industry standard. And a taxidermist without standards is never a pretty sight. I used to source all of my sprats from a local trapper, Frankie Billings. No idea if she's still in business. Word has it she's out north in Auntie's Choice territory, so watch yourself. Fresh being the operative word. My thanks, stranger.
Do you believe Arcadia shall ever return to how it was?
I wish. Invaders.
Since the schism, the Protectorate have rewritten history to exclude politicians.
How long do we go back?
Shame what happened there. I seen the whole thing. Watch yourself if you intend to nose around that collapsed ramshackle. I swear, refugee settlements aren't what they used to be. Oh yeah, Duarte. He's former aunties like me. He was underneath for a few hours. Or, no, that was before. This time it was Rollo Nast? No. Gert Valkenburg. Happens a lot. People here need more room to breathe. Can't build in the walkways, can't set up in the exclusion zone. So they build up. Best they can, at least. Don't have proper building material or nothing. They just make do. After a while, the stacked up little huts they jury-rigged come tumbling down. Oh, you put that together, did you? Here, I thought I was being subtle. Yeah, people keep at it. What else choice they have? Order won't listen. Maybe if we interspersed our requests with numbers, they'd pay attention. Seems like all they care about sometimes.
The Grand Plan is the predetermined order to the
Ah, you must be the, Earth Directorate agent I was told to expect. Your punctuality is commendable. Allow me to welcome you to Golden Ridge. I'm afraid I've no refreshments available, but can I interest you in a customary debate over decidability? Sensible. Straight to business, then. The presiding bishop sent word of your imminent arrival. However, pursuant to our normal standards of compartmentalization, she was scant on the details of your mission. That said, I've been instructed to assist you however I can. So, tell me, what brings you to Golden Ridge?
Victor Clemens, some kind of radical. What an absurd notion.
I must agree with my seer. I once watched Victor shed copious tears over a damaged datapad. It's difficult to imagine him capable of worse.
What?
I'm grieved to hear this news. Like many of our most brilliant minds, Victor was also troubled. I only wish I'd realized sooner the extent. Sadly, true. Now then, By exposing Victor's machinations, you've done the Order a good turn. Perhaps you would be interested in doing another? No doubt you heard of the recent attack launched on that Anti's Choice base, Outpost Opportunity. It came from one of our facilities, the Zeranium Manufactory. But that facility is intended for research, not military action. I hate thinking an Order member responsible, but given the precision of the attack, it does suggest traitors in our midst. It would undoubtedly benefit both of us to root them out.
Respectfully, Scholar, given current tensions, should we really be trusting such a delicate task to this stranger? Would an internal review of our ranks not be more appropriate? Choosing levity at a moment like this is only further evidence of your lack of good judgment.
I don't dispute the need for discretion, my friend, but the presiding bishop made the determination to send the agent to us. It's best we trust her calculations. Moreover, our situation is growing increasingly dire. I can't overstate my fears concerning this most recent attack ending the ceasefire and reigniting the war in Golden Ridge. One more thing. Your investigation into the traitors takes precedence, but if you could also render aid at Outpost Opportunity on our behalf, such a gesture might preserve the peace. I knew I could rely upon you. Ruth wouldn't have sent you otherwise. Here, take this writ of investigative inquiry. It'll grant you access to the manufactory. Seer Wiley and I will conduct our own inquest into these traitors you've mentioned erstwhile. We can compare notes once you've returned with your findings. Illuminating the path to true erudition is an abbot's moral duty. Whatever I can tell you, I will.
Please, not so close. I'm aggregating vital, time-sensitive data.
Every scientician learns to disregard his findings. One day, it will process all of your equations.
Thus, if we compare
I
the
miss
rates
my
of dust accumulation...
Do you believe Arcadia shall ever return to how it was?
Keep your behavior, invaders. We're defecting. There's no putting this sprat back in.
Hope you appreciated how I bit my tongue back there with the abbot. Didn't want things to come to blows with civilians in the crossfire. Full of excuses for the attack, wasn't he? Could be that he's sincere. Or could be that he has his hands so full with keeping his community from falling apart that he missed a memo or two. Either way, I'm willing to stay my hand until we know the truth. If it were my folk buried under the rubble, I'd want to know for certain before acting. Besides, ain't nobody around here better suited for investigating than we are. I prefer doing my shooting after asking all the pertinent questions, Commander. While we're at it playing detective, we need to scope out opportunity. If there are any survivors, we ought to help, however we're able. I can only hope they had warning enough to run for cover. If they didn't, well, there's only so much basic training can prepare you for. Thank you, Commander. We should move on, unless you've got something for me?
Do you believe Arcadia shall ever return to how it was?
Friends, neighbors, while you shelter in Matriarch's mercy.
Scienticians around the settlement inform me you've made some inquiries. Good, good. Continue poking around further, though. You must earn both sides' trust, you know. Well then, if you need me in the meantime, I'll be here, up to my ocular organs and requests.
What caused the schism between the Protectorate and the Order?
Aftermarket parts are prime.
Ready to dispense judgment!
Little pick-me-up for you.
My injuries are not superficial.
Pick me up. Back in. Back in business. Prescription filled.
You have my thanks and my habit.
Graf, back in business.
I'm not ready.
You have my thanks and my hammer. None shall stand against us!
Raring to go. That claw's always crabby. The gravel claw's angry.